This is Ellie Osborn, and I'm super excited to introduce her today.
The first thing that comes to mind when I think about the power of music and why it's important to me in my life and in my community is community. That community can be created through music. Um, and so many people, including my late friend Anna, has done that, where she's created this amazing space where people can come and practice and showcase and jam together, and that kind of community and non-judgmental and warm and welcoming um, environment is part of the power of music. The other thing that I've gotten the privilege to experience because of you, actually, is working with seniors with memory care, in memory care, and getting to see firsthand the power of music for them and their quality of life. So I teach baby and toddlers like a mommy and me type class where the caregiver comes with their child. And so I started doing that in nursing homes and senior living facilities, where the residents could sit around the outside and participate as much as they wanted and watch the children. And I can't tell you how moving that was. I think I probably cried after every class for the first year that I did it, because it was just so moving. And the testimonies that people would tell me, some of the staff would come up to me afterwards and say, you know, we haven't seen so-and-so lift his head since he's been here. And then you started singing I've Been Working on the Railroad, and he got up. Not only did he like lift his head, but he got up out of his chair and started dancing and singing and harmonizing. And so just the power that it brings out, this joy from childhood, or from any experience that is still in there, but somehow the melody and the rhythm connect. It just makes a connection. You know, I'm like, I should switch it up, do the same songs over and over again. I'm getting lazy because, you know, I feel like I can get away with doing the same songs over and over again because I don't remember. But then I realized, well, I do almost the exact same songs at every class for the children, because it's that repetition and that familiarity that is so powerful. I mean, there's a reason why so many people in so many languages have said that music is the universal language of mankind, and that it unifies. We could disagree on everything under the sun, yet then come together through music. It's so magical.
I love that. Quote of the day. When you're doing these sort of intergenerational music groups, both with seniors, but also with when parents come with the kids, do you notice a difference in the way that adults sort of engage in music? Like, are they more apprehensive than kids are to jump in and start playing and singing, or are they pretty playful?
Sometimes, I mean, it depends on the adult, because if people are shy or extroverted, I've noticed that some parents feel kind of uncomfortable at first because it feels like a fishbowl and you're being watched, and people are behind you, because it's usually a circle. So that can feel uncomfortable to people at first. I'm just so used to being, you know, goofy in the spotlight that it doesn't, you know, I don't even notice that anymore. But the children really they just have no inhibitions. So they'll start sharing their little percussion instruments or playing peekaboo with the scarves with the residents. And then the parents will encourage that. And sometimes I'll say, you know, once your child has an egg, can you help your child share an egg with a friend? And so they'll pass out the eggs to the residents, and the smiles, the look on their faces, on the residents' faces, if a little child brings them something. Oh my God, so amazing.
Because I have your CD, we have it at the hospital, and we've done the Lullaby project together. So I know that like in addition to your own music and songwriting and recording, you have helped other people write songs. So I just wonder like how much your songwriting skills play into your work with seniors and with kids.
You know, I use very few of my own songs. Because I say, why
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I use a couple from, I use one from Rick Charette, who I've performed with before and adore. I use some from Peter Alsop, who I met when I was in 5th grade. And he was a children's psychologist and just wrote some really powerful children's songs. So the dog song, which is one of my most it's popular when I do it, is not my song. And I always am trying to give him credit. It's Peter Alsop. It's Peter Alsop. So Laurie Berkner is the one who wrote the chicken song, which is another really popular, because the kids love to shake the eggs really fast or spin around shaking the eggs. And yeah, so she's written some really engaging, fun, I call hyper. It's really interactive is the word. It's just to get the kids up and moving their bodies. And it's just so fun to watch them. There's a few little, like the songs that are the transition songs, like saying goodbye to the ball or cleaning up, like bye bye ball, and then what's coming next. Those I sort of made up, but I feel like they were influenced from classes that I went to. Because when my nieces and nephews, before I had my own children and I was in college, I think I took my nieces and nephews to a music class. And that was actually the inspiration for me to start this business. He's the one who taught me the good morning, good morning, good morning to you, and in like 20 different languages. Sometimes in my classes, I would play some of my originals in the background while we played along with the instruments. But very few of the live songs that I do are my own, which, I sometimes will say like, oh, I should really use my own songs, or I should write. And I was like, but why? This is successful. The ones I've chosen. And I also feel like I'm getting their songs out there, and turning other people on to, like, lots of people have heard of Laurie Berkner, but people who haven't will then discover all of her music. And
I think it's helpful to just like use music that people like, regardless of what it is. In between doing all these groups for kids and seniors and adults, do you use music for yourself in some sort of healing way or stress relief, or are you tired of music at the end of the day?
Oh, that's a great question. I'm going to answer that in 2 parts. The first is absolutely, I use it because I really, from personal experience, know the power of music in healing. And the creation, you'd asked me about writing music. Creating music is one of the most healing processes for me. So when I've gone through really hard or really joyous things in my life, that's when I'm most inspired to write, of course, right? That's why most songs are about love or breaking up, right? That's the most poignant things that inspires us. But when I was getting divorced, or right after I got divorced, I did the project called Feel You Better, that my daughter titled. And that was, it was inspired by a bunch of different things. I was going to kirtans and I was going to yoga classes, and I had a yoga teacher who taught some chants or would chant at the end of every class. She would chant, and I really liked them, and I really liked how it made me feel, and that collective, our voices together, and the energy in the room, and so that inspired me to create some music that was a little bit less distracting than I thought my friends who taught yoga were using. So the project started out to be an album for yoga teachers specifically. But then the whole process was so healing for me. Um, and bringing in my friends to record tracks and some family members. It just became this really collaborative, organic, it just went in a different direction than I thought it was going to go. And it was so cool. And then, you know, I had musician friends help me with the launch and and distributing it. And it then took on a life of its own. Um, my children started using it to fall asleep. So it's supposed to be really relaxing, right? So they would use it to fall asleep. So I put a little disclaimer on there, don't play this in the car, because I didn't want people to be driving and fall asleep. But daycares started using it because my children were young at the time. I think my daughter was still at the JCA. So the JCA started using it for nap time. So that felt really good.
So cute.
Yeah. And then, and some of my friends who were massage therapists started using it while they were with clients, massaging clients. And then they would also carry it for me. So if a client liked it, they could buy it. And that was really helpful. And helped get it out there, which always makes me feel like I've contributed something to the world. And then I started getting feedback. Probably my dad is probably my biggest fan, right? So he would buy a bunch from me, and I kept telling him, you don't have to buy them, but he would buy a bunch from me and then he would give them out to people. And I started getting all of these really nice emails from people saying, oh, your dad gave me this album and I just had to reach out and let you know what a big difference it's made in my life, or stress or whatever they were using it for. And then I had one person tell me that she listened to it every day while she was going through her chemo treatments, and she swears that it helped her get over cancer. So when you hear that, you're like, whoa, music is really, really powerful. And you never know how it's going to serve people when you put it out there.
So I will put your website up, but do you also just want to share where we can find you and your music on the internet?
Oh, sure. Thank you. I do have a YouTube channel, mostly kids songs. And I think that's called Ellie Osborn Music, or maybe just Ellie Osborn. I should know.
I'll double check. I don't know mine either.
And then I think you can find all that through the website as well. But I've been trying to give access to a wider demographic of families to, and that's been one silver lining of the pandemic, is that I got a grant to get some better equipment so that I could. Cool. Oh, hold on, the printer's making noise. Got some better equipment so that I could do these weekly online streaming classes, and those are on Facebook Live on a private group, and that called Gently Down the Live Stream, and then also on Zoom, and I can give the link and the password to families who want to do the Zoom. And once I started doing them on Zoom, even though the sound quality isn't great, being able to see the children made it so much better for me, because before I was just looking at myself and trying to be upbeat and positive and performing for myself, which is just not the same as performing for children and seeing their expressions and their joy.